What if you stop believing everything that you hear to be true? That's one of the premises of communication. Be very careful that you don't believe everything that you hear.
I'm prone to really question everything I hear. Communication. We are getting messages from everywhere all the time, and yet we still seem to struggle with listening to people in our lives who matter, and we seem to struggle with how do we relay the things we're really thinking about, the things that are really important to us, to the people in our lives. So we spend a lot of time with our clients on that, and you can see it is a great measure of success or failure in business and relationships and all over the place, our ability to communicate effectively or lack thereof.
What if one of the most important things that made the most profound difference to human beings wasn't money? What if it wasn't how you looked? What if it wasn't all these distractive fucking things that everybody gets inundated with? What if it was this simple conversation called communication? The untapped depth of what becomes available to everybody is tapped into by communication. And it's still vague, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, if it weren't so vague, it wouldn't be this multi-billion-dollar industry of gurus and soothsayers trying to help people with, and you're right, all of those things are not the most important things. It's easy to lose track of what really matters, and we're in this rat race where we lose each other in pursuit of those things, and a lot of it can be directly correlated to our lack of ability to communicate.
Or an understanding what the hell communication is. You could literally put 1,000 people in a room and ask them to define communication, and you get 1,020 different renditions of what communication is. Communication, hey y'all, communication is so important that we end up believing everything we hear. That has been one of the truths discovered by both political parties, by leaders, by anybody.
By marketing agencies, by beauty industry, by fitness industry, everybody.
And we literally are inundated in a paradigm called we believe everything that we hear, but we don't understand what communication is. And so today's topic is trying to unravel, pull the layers of the onion off of what communication is so that everybody gets deeper access to the advantage of communicating with each other, being communicated to, communicating, whatever the hell that is. So communication is the key to everything that humans have in front of them.
Yeah, and the breakdown of communication is such a huge factor in carnage in business, in relationships. I would imagine if there's a breakdown in communication among SEALs, people die. If there's breakdown in communication among athletes on a team, the team is going to lose. When you have really good, clear communication with someone, you absolutely know it. There's no doubt in your mind that you know it. And it requires consistent efforts and practices over long periods of time. And most people, I don't think, are willing to put those tools into practice. It's an immediate gratification era that we're living in. And even if you give people the keys to the kingdom, I think a lot of them are really still reluctant to even try them out. Don't you?
Well, yeah, maybe there's a process, maybe there is some way to communicate, but at the premise of all communication is literally this weird dynamic called we believe everything that we hear. Like our ears only hear truth. They're designed to only vibrate. Your eardrums vibrate, and we think what we hear is true. So what men and women don't understand is that weird essential fact is we believe everything that we hear to be true. What if it wasn't? What if you stop believing everything that you hear to be true? And that's one of the premises of communication. Be very careful that you don't believe everything that you hear.
Yeah, I'm prone to really question everything I hear. Some may call me a conspiracy theorist, and I'm okay with that, but I'm not going to just nod and go along with anything I hear. Show me.
Look at it, let's go back a billion years. You have 5 senses. Hearing is one of them. It's one sense that needs to be validated by another. That's why you have multiple senses. You look at animals out there in the bush. A deer has massive hearing, and it has to validate what it hears by another sense. If you've ever hunted, it'll hear something, and then it will try to smell it or see it. Mm-hmm. So all it is a sense that has to be deeply understood. And why are we starting with that? So here's the deal. Everything in media is false. Everything. Because the media understands if I get people to believe something, I can monetize it. Mm-hmm. I can get them to do something, because humans inherently believe everything. We believe what we're hearing to be true. That's why I keep saying the premise of communication is don't believe everything that you hear. So going back to what Stacy and I decided to talk about today, because we get part of our program is teaching communication. Because without a deep understanding of communication, you can't be taught anything effective. You know what I mean?
I do.
Like you go to school and you're taught something, it may not be effective. It may not be effective. So what if there were other ways to unravel premises, the design of communication? The first one, as we were saying, so here's the test. Here's how you can test this to be true. Tell somebody you're coming somewhere at 6 o'clock in the morning. How do you know it's true?
They show up.
If they show up. If they show up, a second sense has to be rendered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, validation.
Physically, they show up, they touch my skin, they're here.
Confirmation.
I see them here.
Yep.
What is being taught is the opposite. Believe what you hear.
And don't question.
And then put $1 million on what you hear. It may not be true. Watch what happens when you question somebody's truth. Because they know they're not telling the truth because they can't back it up with something else. Mm-hmm. What if there was a design? So unrolling that design, what Stacy and I have been doing for the past 10 years, and what I also learned from the SEAL teams, which makes the SEALs so demonstrably unique, is the capacity to listen to what somebody says without making what they say true or false. Another way of saying that is listen without judgment.
People really struggle to do that. We immediately want to judge everything.
We immediately
that's said.
want to pin down our belief system into this predicament that is communication. What becomes, it's the most difficult thing for humans to do is listen without truth, without judgment. Mm-hmm. Listen. Whatever somebody says, just keep listening.
Yeah, so I would love for people who are watching or listening to this to really consider, what if you're with your significant other and for 5 minutes you had things that you needed to share and all they did was listen?
Just listen.
How would that change the dynamic between spouses, partners, parents, and children if whomever was speaking was just listened to?
Just listen.
Just listen.
And you men know this to be a problem. The biggest conflict, all right, dudes, listen. The biggest conflict in marriage is men fix women. You're listening by judging what they're saying. You're not just listening, trying to fix them because you're trying to find right and wrong, something that you can engage with, as opposed to the first skill, ability to listen, not making it right or wrong. Listen without judgment is it's a weak muscle. It gets strong. What happens when it gets strong is the issue. So if I listen to Stacy without judging what she's saying, what happens?
We are so much more connected. We have a sense of intimacy. I feel completely validated if you just listen to me. And then I'm more willing to listen to you, to do the things that you would like me to do, to make efforts to please you. If I feel heard, it changes my life.
Yeah, if you talk to psychotherapists, if you talk to people who understand the human dynamic, all humans have to be heard without judgment. So if Stacy is sharing something with me, my kids are sharing something with me, your boss is sharing something with you, shut your mouth and listen. Let them speak so that they're heard. Being heard frees me up wholesale. So if Stacy hears everything that I'm saying without judgment, it frees me up to that thing that I was dealing with isn't the most important thing between the two of us, where I can unload the past and she just listens. I can expose myself to problems that I've had. She just listens. Fixing people isn't listening.
Mm-mm. No, fixing people and standing in judgment of them, it's completely antithetical to what they need when all they want is to be heard. You know, one of the other things, I have to practice this myself all the time. It's really easy to get ourselves into a situation where if somebody communicates something with us, even on like a casual level that we are offended by, we don't agree with, we think that they should be corrected, set the record straight. What if you just listened to what they had to say and acted in a way that validated their communication to you, or not act at all, just listen.
Just listen. I think validation may not be necessary. So when the listening without judgment skill, it's a freaking skill. It may take years to actually get good at it, good at doing it. It frees up the other human being to not have their past be how you deal with them. Mm-hmm. That's a skill.
It really creates the dynamic of being together and being one and being powerful right now, because it is such a relief as a woman to have my husband simply listen to me. Like, I know there are so many women out there who that's all they want from their husband is, I just need him to listen to me. I don't need him to fix things. I don't need him to solve problems. And my life is so much better simply because Thom will just take a few moments each day to listen to me. Whatever it is that I have going on, he doesn't have to agree with it. He doesn't have to disagree with it. He's just listening to me.
Because another way of saying that, it's a difficult thing for everybody to hear here because everybody wants to get to the punchline. My ability to listen to Stacy, anything that she shares, is something that is hindering her from being in this moment right now. It could be terrible things that people share. If you listen without judgment, you free them up from it so that they're not dealing with it, and that you can be present to the other person in this moment, whether it's I wrecked the car, I burned the house down, I spent $1 million, I wrecked a jet, I cheated, anything. Listen, so that what you're doing right now is being present to the other person, not their problems. If you only listen with judgment, the world will occur to you as massive problems that you have to deal with all the time. All the time. It's like the quiet desperation of human beings, just because the world is always fucking problem-centered.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this isn't a male-only issue, because every bit I need Thom to listen to me, he needs me to listen to him. You know, I think women aren't that good at this skill either in general. And if a man comes, and a lot of men, they want to vent about things, just like we need to vent to them, but stop judging men who come to you and are venting to you. They just want to lighten their load a little bit and discuss what it is that has them wrapped around the axle. And even that ability to just say it to you without you shutting them down, without you rolling your eyes, without you acting like he's being an asshole, that's going to create so much relief for him. Like, I can see Thom relax in the midst of those conversations where he's sharing with me things that he's frustrated about, and all I'm doing is just being there and listening. And at some point, how can I help at the conclusion? But make sure everything he needs to say has been said.
Yeah, so I get to be free. So I get to drop my backpack in front of Stacy or people. If you're a leader, listen first. Literally, let the bullshit get expressed without everybody having to deal with it. And that's a long, long conversation to have. Secondly, holy Christ, everybody, here's the deal. The second most important thing to realize about communicating is stop communicating with drama. Stop adding spice to shit. Stop adding uncommitted conversation. Drama is uncommitted conversation. Asking somebody something that you're not committed to getting the answer to. Being pissed off is drama. Adding emotion to a conversation is drama. It's all drama. Drama this, drama that. Hey, Stacy, how are you doing? Oh, my back hurts. Hey, God, if you have 1 minute left to speak, why are you putting that into the space? We put too much uncommitted bullshit into each other's spaces. We've judged them, and now we add drama. That's what everybody's communication spectrum is like.
Mm-hmm. And what it does is it puts a tremendous amount of space and distance between us when our communication is that way. And something else is going to fill that vacuum when there's a space.
People don't even know what to say. They don't even know what to say. When you speak to somebody, try it. Try to get a look at what you're saying to somebody. Is it drama or is it clear? Is it precise or is it emotional? Is it baggage? We share our problems with each other. All right, you have 1 more minute to speak. You're going to share a problem. Why? Why do we do that to each other? It causes everything to fall apart. We judge and we add drama. We judge and we add drama. Listen without judgment and speak without drama.
We spend hours, literally hours, with clients working on developing this skill and how they can begin to introduce this into their relationships at home and at work, and it makes the quality of their life and relationships and the outcome of their performance.
Try this with your spouse. Try this with your brother. Try this with a colleague at work. Listen to them as if you don't know them. Listen. There's no judgment. You can tell me anything. Because what you're doing there for them is freeing them up to be present. And then when you speak, only say something that is in this moment. Try to share from this moment. You can't share anything from the past. You can only share in this moment something that is effective. You will find that it's very difficult to do. The great leaders of the world listen and never add drama, ever. The great husbands and wives of the world listen without judgment and speak without drama because they practice it, practice it, and practice it. If you add drama to the conversation, you add problems that cannot be solved. Judge people, you'll just have repetitive activity from them. No judgment, no drama are the first two bases of communicating. Divorce is caused by judging and adding drama.
And not communicating.
Well, that's what people communicate.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of that is real communication. Listening to somebody as if they don't have to judge them and sharing something with them of meaning and value to you. Try it. By the way, y'all won't be able to do it. You have to learn it. And the funniest thing, the part of communicating, like the third basic communicating, is clarity. Repeating back to somebody what you think they said or asking them to communicate with you. Hey, listen, Stacy, did you hear what I said? Oh, yeah, you were talking about your foot. Oh, my God, that was 20 minutes ago. Holy Toledo. Getting clarity in the conversation is another weak muscle. You let people without getting clarity. If you can ever get clarity, you're at a whole different level of communicating. And stop people when you don't know what the hell they're talking about. Say that again. I'm a knuckle dragger. Please repeat what you just said because it was so important. I want to hear it. When I do that with Stacy, I get a level of affection and intimacy that I would never have gotten. She doesn't like to be interrupted, but I don't like not to know what the hell she's talking about. At the end of the day, we get a level of communication that is profound.
So communication is the baseline skill to develop if you want to be really connected to somebody, if you want to be effective in what you're doing at home or at work. What are they really telling you to do? And I swear, if all of the quote unquote leaders were effective at teaching communication, it wouldn't be such an issue.
You wouldn't need the news, by the way. The news distorts, creates judgment, and creates drama.
That's all that the news is.
All it does.
There's no information in it
Distractions.
anymore. Dishonesty.
Make people think there's right and wrong. And add spice and drama and be excited when you communicate. That's drama.
Turn them against each other and keep them gripped to the television.
The big practice. If you want to learn how to communicate, listen without judgment, speak without drama, and get clarity. If you want to learn how to do it, call us. So thanks for bringing me on, Stacy.
Thank you.